If you can make sure Katie O'Brien gets on, she agreed to Zoom in tonight.
Okay. Keep the chat window open too. Where is that?
Hi, Jamie Lynn.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good.
Good.
Let's see.
I have you on Suits Road, is that correct?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Okay. I know too much about the roads in this town.
You should come to highway superintendent.
No, thank you. Is
Okay.
Bill's still
I
there?
think we're good.
Yeah. Hi, Joe, welcome. I know you're muted. We may have that.
Mr. Wenzel?
Hello, Mr. Wenzel. At some point, I'd like to meet you in person.
We can't hear you, Bill. You're
You'll
muted.
have to unmute yourself.
How's that? Better?
Yes,
Sure
we can
is.
hear you now.
Good. I'll endeavor to make the next meeting live.
Well, you're here virtually, and that's okay. I understand completely. At some point, as things loosen up, I'm sure we'll be able to talk in person.
Yeah, hopefully next time.
Yeah, next time. It's been a crazy week again.
Close, I mean,
Yeah.
Saratoga's gonna be fully open, the racetrack. So
oh, then, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, there you
the
go.
governor wants to go bet on horses.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, when we're open and have a board meeting, I will come to a board meeting and that, then.
Good.
Do we have Katie O'Brien yet?
I don't think so.
Who's the dog? Who's the dog?
That is Mary Ellen. Hi, Mary Ellen.
She's muted.
Yeah.
Not on yet.
Okay. Might be having trouble.
I'm recording it, so if we need it for reference, we'll have that too.
Okay. I'm gonna give it another minute. I'm gonna email Katie and see if she needs the link again.
I don't know if you see Joe O'Neill's message, but he says no webcam or mic on desktop. So he says, hi, everyone.
Okay. He's being such a techie.
Yes, I see that. I see the chat. Yep, thank you. Okay, Joe, we got you.
It's playing hard to get.
We'll leave the chat window open, Joe. So if you need to chime in, you can do it that way.
All right, I sent the link to Katie O'Brien again, so hopefully that'll help her out. Hi, are you trying to get on and having difficulty? Okay. Okay. I sent you the link again. If you look at the email. I think you've done it. We're going to just start. Okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna try to join us. She's having technical difficulties.
Why don't we get started then?
Mhm.
Your show, lady.
Gonna make me do the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome. First order of business is approval of the meeting minutes from January 6th and March 3rd. Does anyone have any changes? Do they see any problems with those meetings minutes?
I did not read them, I'm sorry. Nope, I thought they were fine.
Okay,
I lived it.
so let's,
Motion.
I make a
Motion.
motion, we approve the minutes from the, what month is this? From the March
3rd
March 3rd meeting.
and the January, you want to do them separately?
Oh, no, we can do, and the January meetings as
Sixth.
well. We get two sets of minutes, January
second.
and March.
Sold.
Okay, the meeting minutes are approved and I'll make sure I email them to you so you can put them up. So, Roger, do you have an update for us on the road by road line extension projects?
On the big project, as we know, is Creek Road. I know I'm gonna miss a few roads. Gage Road, Thousand Acre Road, Oak Hill, some of Route 30, Maranatha Way, all that big corner, Schoonmaker, Brown, the whole corner of town. What do we say, 150 homes?
So the number we have from Charter Spectrum is plus or minus 168 homes.
So that one's going, I talked to Kevin Egan the other day, that one's going splendid. They have not had any hiccups. Things are going
Excellent.
good. Things are going there. He said they actually don't want to say it, but he said they think they're ahead of schedule on some parts of it, so things are going really good. The weather has slowed them down a little bit, but everything else is, like I said, everything's done. Everything that needs to be done is done, the permits, and now they're just doing the project. So that's great news. Next order of business, next roads, I got a bid from Spectrum to do Alexander Road and Suits Road. Those will be like the next two biggest roads to get done because of the number of houses per mile, which we always talk about. They do not fall under the contract. So they came back for a cost and aid of construction for Alexander Road, includes 14 passings, which would cost the town $74,854. Suits Road would be 7 passings at $46,392.
I'm sorry, 46,000.
$392. Grand total about 121K. That's the money we have set aside for broadband.
So did Mr. Egan know how much money we had set aside for broadband?
I think so.
I see.
Because we've had discussions before.
So he just came in right in
He
the
came right
sweet
in,
spot.
knowing how much money we had in the bank, I think he came right in the sweet
I
spot.
see.
So this would be a decision of the town board, which we have a meeting tomorrow night. If we want to use those funds that we have set aside for broadband extension to do those two roads.
So question for you. What homes would still remain undone?
That's what I was hoping to spend a few minutes before I came down here to look at. I just brought my project sheet down.
Okay,
So project 1 would be done, that's at Creek Road. 2 is at Alexander, so that would get done. Project 3 is Suits Road, that would get done. I think the homes on project 4, which is homes on New England Churches Road, the
yeah,
lower part, that would not get done. We'll circle those. Project 5, which is Route 7 up by Quaker Street.
so we
That-
don't, the 168, I believe, includes Route 7.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. So it includes that. I think that project 5 would be Gage Road would get done, Thousand Acre Road would get done. McGuire School Road, no. So there's 2 houses. There's 4 there. Project 8, which is the other, that whole corner, Oak Hill, Maranatha Way, Upper Brown, Schoonmaker Brown, Sheldon. I believe they all be part of the big project.
I'm not sure about Sheldon because it's south of Route 7.
Well, Project 9.
No, you didn't. Project 9 is.
Those 8.
I don't have the
10.
old list.
Number 9. Okay, yeah, skip 9. And then Project 10 is Turnbull.
I believe Turnbull is part of the 168, the
And then-
southern part of Turnbull.
Then we have Project 11 is Western Turnpike. That's down by the chicken farm, right?
Yes, and some of those were Hughes.
Yeah, so.
Satellite
I think at the end of the day,
grants.
we're gonna be down to 5, 10.
Well, we had said we were down to 203, right? I mean, that was
Yeah.
the
Well, we're at
number.
203.
So if they string up 168, that leaves 35, and if we have 21 more homes with the projects with funding, that would just leave us with 14.
That's what I was thinking. I
So-
think it was under 20 houses.
168, some of those are not in the town of Twinsburg.
Okay,
But I think, yeah, but if you,
okay.
what I just, from the numbers I have, I think it's gonna be under 20 houses.
Still remaining to be served.
Yeah. Which is like phenomenal.
Well, plus the 14 and 7.
Yeah, I wasn't including the 14 and 7.
And what happens when somebody moves into town and calls up and says, who serves? Who do I get broadband from? Because that can happen.
What do you mean by that?
That like new houses get built
New houses
at
will
the
get
end of a
built.
road where they don't have service.
I think then it's a constant
For
service of
franchise fee
service
thing.
of the town to look into
Okay,
trying to find money to get the cable down the road.
that makes sense.
But as these projects get all done, say all the projects got done, there's gonna be very few places in town where new houses are gonna be new cable, because I think a lot of houses are going in between houses that have cable.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, unless somebody makes another, not a settlement, but
Another
subdivision.
neighborhood or
Yeah, make it
something.
like a subdivision, but usually the subdivisions get looked at and they, Spectrum or somebody jumps right on them.
Those are usually within the 20 per mile.
So if we can get down, if the town board decides to pay for the Alexander Road and the Suits Road, like I said, it will be under, I would say, safely under 20 houses.
So does Kevin Egan have anything to say about the audit by the Public Service Commission and how that turned out?
I did not speak to him about it.
Okay, because it seems to me that it could be that I'm looking for other ways to pay for these projects
Oh, absolutely.
before the 145,000. And I'm wondering if he had any statement. I know, clearly he came up with a kayak for you, right?
Mhm.
In the past, if we pushed hard enough, he would finally say, well, we can bring it down, we can bring the cost down, we can bring, and
Yeah.
eventually he would just say, well, Charter's just gonna do
Right.
this.
Yeah,
So my hope is that we can,
I think these numbers will go down.
okay,
I think I said that was my first discussion with him about it, or the
Good.
first time I seen the numbers. So I think to him, I go to him and say, listen, we'll do it if you do it for $1, for 100,000 total.
okay.
good deal, Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
So I'm inclined to put more political pressure on him.
Mhm.
But I don't want to do that if it's going to jeopardize the existing project.
I would say I don't think we need to at this point.
Okay.
Until we get to the next ones. But,
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a sweet spot, do you think, where we should start discussing?
I think we're good right this minute for pressure.
I kind of agree that we're, but I don't want to see the town paying out money
No, but
that
this,
could be used in the future to hook up literally end of road houses
Yeah.
like Guernsey Road.
but then we have to look at other people we've been making friends with, like Senator Hinchy and those people. By the time they get money, it'd be probably time for those projects.
Right,
So-
but I mean, I'm confident that those are gonna be smaller.
Yes. Well, the town has, every year, we budgeted some money aside, put aside, so.
Right.
That's something, for the future town boards, they put 10 to 15 grand a year aside for those projects.
Right,
The franchise fee money.
Yeah, for franchise, yeah.
right, use the franchise
Yeah,
fees
part
to
of the franchise.
help
fee
out with
budget.
those small line extensions. And I think that's just a,
And I think that's what they're gonna be. I think after we get all everything done, the town won't, we had to put probably a lot less in there, maybe 5 grand a year for the 1 or 2 homes here and there that pop in that
Right.
need help.
when we need it.
Yeah.
As long as we can keep talking Kevin Egan down from the,
Yeah,
what did you say?
121,
121,000
so.
for Alexander and, does anybody want to make any comments here about road by road line extension? Any questions? Just want to open it up a little.
Hi, yeah, it's Jay Molan. I just have a couple of questions. I'm assuming that Suits Road, that proposal that's going to go to the town board tomorrow includes the remaining addresses that do not currently have Spectrum.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yeah.
Okay.
7
And then,
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
it's 7 houses on Suits Road.
Okay, 7 houses that don't have it. Okay. My next question is, it's going to the board tomorrow for approval. Where would I find the information to see if that's been approved or not?
We need to start it as a discussion. So we'll talk about it at the board meeting and we may put it up, but if anything, it takes like a week or so before we have the minutes up on the website, but you can contact the town clerk on Friday to see what was approved and not.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, this is Melissa. I was kind of late to the meeting, but I haven't been to any of the other meetings thus far, but I was just curious. I hear you saying what zones. What is the timeline for these individual zones to get hooked up?
Hi, Melissa. What is your last name?
Gorman,
And where do you live, Melissa?
Gage Road. So I guess zone 5 is what you were saying.
Yeah, project.
it's-
We just name them as projects, but Gage Road is part of the big project, right? So they're talking September.
So we've gotten conflicting information on the project, but the one you're looking at is Gage Road is part of project number 2118093.
Spectrum's number.
That's a Spectrum project number. And they're going to be serving approximately 168 homes. Most of them are in the town of Duanesburg. Now, my understanding is they have to do this by the end of September 2021. But I recently contacted a guy in the construction department of Charter Spectrum who says that mid-June is a reasonable time for them to finish the construction. Now, I think, and Kim, you might have more experience with this than I, that means the construction will be complete and then it takes some time for them to release it to the sales department so that then they become available to set up service for us. Does that sound right, Kim?
That is correct. And I highly recommend people keep their eye on what is going on. And as soon as you see them drop the fiber in the ground and then put those posts at the end are green, at least mine is green. When that post goes in, that's when you're going to start calling, because in my case, my post was never connected. The person that was responsible for the project retired. So my post never got connected, where everybody else's posts did, and they got contacted by sales. So my recommendation is not to let them, you start seeing the cable getting dropped and those posts going in, to start calling.
Okay.
So they connect them.
They have run lines up a utility pole at the end of my driveway. But that's an initial part, right? That's not the post you're talking about?
Correct. That's not the, so they can, in some instances, like for my house, it went underground. For some of my neighbors, it went underground, then it went up the pole, and then it went to their house. And so they didn't have the green pillars at the end. So each person is a little bit different, but if any activity that you see, I recommend, calling the construction department and getting information on your particular area. What's the status? What's the status? And ask for the construction people to come out and give you an assessment. I do have a construction guy's business card. He has been very helpful. He's even helped my in-laws who have had cable for a really long time, but they had degraded service and he was able to get it fixed for them. So I haven't, thank God, burned that bridge. This gentleman, he has been extremely helpful. So that's just my recommendation.
And are you being careful to protect him so that the bridge doesn't get burned?
Yes, I am, because I don't want to burn the bridge with this very nice gentleman who has been so kind to help myself and my neighbors and my in-laws.
Okay. It's
the green box thing, is that like it's kind of like rectangular, right? And it just kind of looks like a box almost, but more of a rectangle pole type thing. Just out of, because there's some like
they look like so I do have pictures that I've taken of what it looks like with the cap on and what it looks like without the cap on it. But it's a repeater actually is what it is. So they connect the fiber to that repeater, and it's a post that's like either at the end of your driveway or wherever that cable, because cable only can go just so far without a repeater, because the signal will degrade. So that pillar, you'll either see a pillar on the ground, that's the repeater, or you'll see on the pole somewhere near the cable line. If they don't, they'll have a repeater. It's another piece of equipment.
Gotcha.
Is it like a box, like almost like a toaster oven or something?
Right.
sized.
Okay. Yeah, I've just been watching them as they put it in, but they've got some of that, but then because I'm on Gage Road as well, but they've stopped. Like the guy hasn't been back for like 3 weeks, so I'm assuming that means that like he's probably finished a lot of it. But I don't have that by my house, but like I can see one of them. I think. Right.
So that was the kind of like the case with my neighbor. So I had the pillar. Some of my neighbors had the pillar. Some of my neighbors, I could see the cable fiber in the ground, and it was just laying there. And so for some of my neighbors, like the Grants and the Paganos, they had to come and actually run it up the pole and then go from the pole to the house. And then for me, it was, down Schoharie Turnpike, underground, and then they had the repeater box at the top of my driveway, and then they brought the cable down to my house underground.
Gotcha. Okay.
A very interesting process to watch them do. So yeah, just keep an eye out on those things, and then I would still call. Okay, that's just me. I would still call. Say, hey, I see it down the street. When they come into my house? Because if I didn't keep calling, I waited like 3 months after they installed that box at the top of my driveway. And it wasn't from my incessant calling that finally somebody came out, took the top off the green thing and said, oh, they never even hooked up the cable, but they hooked it up for my neighbors. So I would definitely call. And then this kind of like bled into, what was going on with my other neighbors who had it on their pole and not brought to their house. So.
Right. Thanks for the advice. So I think the answer is, as we see this progress going, people should start calling and asking for service. Today, it's May right now. I suspect by mid-June, if you see the box go in, call them up. Right? And I'm doing
Can you
this
hear?
road.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, is that Ralph?
This is Ralph and Jan.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
We're working off our HughesNet here.
Yeah.
I
Figured it out.
got a prism number from construction team finally, and they gave me a kayak of $7,755.93, which they'll cover 3,000 of. They say that there's 920 feet of cable have to run up Alexander to our house. And I can't see that since they hooked up 1367 and the house across the road.
Right.
But I did get a kayak finally.
Okay.
But
Can
they
you-
don't need,
The number they gave you?
They gave me a prism number of 2896698.
Okay, and the cost of your kayak?
Well, it was $7,755.93. And they say they cover 3,000 of it. So it brings it down to 4,775.93.
Ralph, what's your address again?
Is that Alexander?
1,200.
1200 Alexander Road.
I don't feel it's 920 feet from 1367, you know.
Want me to- So Roger was discussing that earlier. He's been talking to our representative with Charter. And he has a number from them for the 14 passings that would complete Alexander Road. Are you still with us?
Yep, we're here. So there's 14 other people that are being connected.
There are 14 total people on Alexander Road, homes.
Wow, that's wonderful. Good news.
Yes. I appreciate that kayak information. Because the town was given a number for serving that. Did you join us late?
Yeah, we did.
We did. I was trying to call in, but it kept busy.
No,
So my husband says, let's try it this way. And we were figuring it out because we've never done this before. So sorry.
That's all right. Yeah. So what Roger said when we first started was that did you talk to Kevin Egan?
Yes.
Okay. And Kevin Egan gave you,
Kevin Egan gave us a kayak to do the 14 remaining houses on Alexander Road for a sum of $74,854.
Wow.
and 7 passings on Suits Road,
For
$46,392.
Now, the town, Ralph, the town does, I'm sure in the past, you probably heard us say, town did receive a $100,000 grant from the county a year ago to help with broadband, and the town has put some money away each year. So that would cover basically what we have put away, those 2 roads. And with the other big project that Spectrum was doing out of their pocket, at the end of the day, if the town pays for those 2 roads, Spectrum finishes their big project, we'll be down under 20 houses left in the town that need service. So the board, so tomorrow night we have a board meeting, we'll discuss if we want to use those funds to fund those 2 roads, which I can't see why we're gonna say no. I know me and John, I think me and John will vote yes, so I think the rest of the board will go with us. So I think, so tomorrow night, at least, at the very least, there'll be a discussion, there may be a vote, maybe a vote for, give me permission to continue talks with Spectrum on, maybe we try to get the price down a little bit, but maybe we'll put a cap on it at 120,000. So
Excellent.
things are going great, I think.
Sounds very promising, very much so. Thank you.
It's very promising. Now, I am concerned about those other 20 to 30 homes. And
Sure.
And I want to get as many homes hooked up as we can. So, you know, Roger and John are doing an excellent job and I appreciate it, but I'm a little vindictive. And I want to say, you know, why are we paying out 121,000 if there's any way to do this with public funding? So
Right.
I'll be fighting for more public funding.
Well, we're hoping it's going to be a public entity too. That was being brought up. I had heard it's going to perhaps be under into the
Turn into a
utility.
utility.
Right, that's supposed to be going.
Yeah.
That's in the Senate now.
That's in the Senate, right?
Yeah, I have, Jessica, do you have anything to say about that or?
Yeah, so it's Sean Ryan's bill. He's a senator out in Buffalo, and basically it would qualify broadband as a utility to be treated the same way as our others like water and all of that. So, yeah, I mean it's going through. We're a co-sponsor on it. That should kind of take us over some of the hurdles. So happy to provide the bill link. I can put that in the chat right now.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. By the way, everyone, Jessica, this is Jessica Singleton. If you haven't met her before, she's, I forget your title, but she is with Senator Hinchy's office, our new Michelle Hinchy.
Excellent.
Good. We appreciate all the work you've done.
Really do.
Yeah, Bob.
Really do. We had watched them down, my husband watched them down the road when they were doing the hookup, and that's when we were curious. We says, well, why don't we call them up and let us find out what they could do extra, like he's told you about this construction team we tried to get a hold of, and they took what, maybe 5 days before we had to call them to get the information.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job. Thank you for pressing. It's important.
Well, no, you guys are really doing all the work.
Right.
Yeah, but it's absolutely true that the pressure sure has been coming from us, but when it comes from all the people out there that are constantly calling and they get phone calls every day from different people, you know, at some point they say, geez, let's give them service and get them out of our hair. You know, so you just gotta keep on it. Keep on it.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Okay. Last
Very good
time
news.
it was assistance from our elected officials. And as you know, we have Ms. Singleton here to show at
Yeah.
this point we're getting help from our new state senator.
Right.
Okay.
And maybe one day there'll be a federal infrastructure project.
Well, I mean, you know
Maybe
me,
one
I'm
day.
always willing to talk. The FCC the new chair of the FCC is Jessica Rosenworcel.
Right.
Who I met, and she used me as her poster child. So
Yep.
one of the first things she did, as I think she's still, she has not been approved. She's, what do you call it?
Ordained, I don't know.
Yeah.
She's standing commissioner, not actually the chair of the FCC
Acting.
yet, but she's acting, thank you. So one of the first things she did was set up a committee to fix the broadband maps. And so I know the FCC is starting work on getting their mapping more accurate. So when you look your house up on their maps, it actually tells you who serves you. Hopefully we won't be needing that anymore since we made our own maps and we've been pushing hard. But it's certainly something that needs to be done for our state, the rest of the state, and for our country.
Absolutely.
I guess I did hear from, I heard from a resident on Maranatha Way. Sometimes this is how we know what's going to be a part of this 168 passing build out. Because there was a resident there who was concerned about the quality of the construction being done by Charter Spectrum contractors. And so I was able to let them know that patience may pay off, and in the end, it might be messy now, but Charter Spectrum has in the past done a good job of cleaning up their work. And in the end, we'll get broadband to that road. So I think that's all I have. That's all I have. Oh, I will be meeting with Jessica Singleton tomorrow. The Senator's office has reached out to the Public Utility Law Project to help us and to help the Senator's other constituents in putting pressure on the appropriate people to make sure that broadband build out continues. And I think PULP has a lot of good ideas. Among them are additional Freedom of Information Law requests, and just different ways to put pressure on the Public Service Commission, the Broadband Program Office, to make sure that our bill in Waynesburg continues. But I think that, you know, at this point, we're in pretty good shape, and we're gonna hold off on doing anything immediately. But the pressure is always out there, and that's important.
What about, has there been any activity with regard to Verizon at all?
I haven't heard from them. When the roads left over, I'd have to see if the roads that will be left over, if they connect to Verizon or not.
And that was what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Do we have, or are they anywhere close to Alexander and Suits to provide a competitive bid for that if they were reasonable?
They are
No,
not. They're
not
anywhere
Suits.
close to.
Yeah, okay.
They
Closest,
are.
they would be closer to Alexander than Suits because they come.
Yeah, I don't think
But
they
they're
came
too
south
far,
of
yeah.
like Skyline, I don't think, right?
They did not. The projects on your list that they would be close to are McGuire School Road.
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether McGuire School Road is actually now served by Verizon. Is anyone aware? I'm talking about McGuire School Road closer to Route 30.
Yeah, the north end, yeah.
I thought that part got. Okay. I have to check.
Is there any way you could find that out, Roger?
I don't have it on my project list.
You have that on your project number 7.
7. Yes, you're right. It's at the very end.
It is. It's the north end of McGuire
Yeah, I'll
School.
find out. I'll look at who lives there and see if I know.
That would be great. The other thing is there's somebody way at the top of, right near Montgomery County. Oh, how about Raymond's Corners Road?
That one's done.
Okay, so that is done by Verizon?
Yes.
Question mark?
Yeah.
All right. Mary Ellen, are you listening? I'll get that information to her.
I'm listening, but I'd appreciate it if you get the information.
I will get the information to you. Hi, Mary Ellen, nice to hear you. That's 1963 Brayman's Corners Road. And I think there's another one at the very top of that.
That's the bottom of the town. That's the very farthest before this. That's already on the Scary Creek.
Correct, on the Schoharie Creek.
Yeah,
They might be served by Verizon.
they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just saying, I'm sorry. There's another one. I'm being a little thick. I apologize. Because I was thinking of, they went north
Yeah.
past Mary Lane.
Mary Lane. North, like northern part of town.
Yes, where it crosses into Montgomery County. And for a while, I think we still have a blue flag,
Like
the last house.
Sheldon Road and all those roads up in there.
No, that's south, north,
That's north. No,
north
Sheldon
of where
Road.
you live.
Yeah, above Maryville Lake.
No, she's
The
more
west
toward the
side.
west. Yeah, I know.
So you're talking about
West of Route 30.
Miller's Corners Road.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
There was an address, yeah.
I think there's still an address that we have marked as unserved on Miller's Corners Road. And that would be Verizon.
That would be part, yeah. I don't have that address. If you give me that address.
I will get you the Miller's Corners Road and address. And is Jessica still with us? Jessica, do you happen to know, does the senator have in her district any of Montgomery County?
We have all of Montgomery County.
So this would affect the senator with respect to those towns north of the town of Duanesburg, the southern end of Montgomery County.
Yes, yeah.
So we'll find out if that address on Miller's Corner is now served by Verizon, which may be an indication that,
Annabelle,
yeah,
we don't have anybody on the map on Miller's Corners Road.
I think
The
you determined a while
only
ago.
left Is at 1963 on Bremen's Corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a while ago, we determined Miller's Corners was done because they went through it into the next town.
see, I am a little thick. Mary
Not thick,
Ellen,
slow.
not thick, slow. Mary Ellen, can you look again at the north part of town
There shouldn't be nobody.
on the west side, northwest side of town? Are there any blue flags up there?
Shouldn't be any of that.
63 Bremen's Corners.
Okay,
That one I was told.
And wait a minute, Gordonier Road?
Gordonier Road is, that's the road off of Herrick.
Eric,
okay, Gordon Air is done.
Yeah, there was new construction on a couple of houses, so they were done.
Verizon,
Is it all the way to the end? Because there's a couple houses that are tucked way back at the end of Gordon Air.
Well,
Yeah, this is way down at the end of Gordonier.
Yeah,
But doesn't, what's his name live down there?
it's,
The guy from the Elks Club?
yes. Rob Beaver,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's got it because he's on Facebook all the time.
well, I'm on Facebook, oh, he's on Facebook all the
Facebook all
time.
the time.
Yeah, I can ask him.
Yeah, we
All right.
can get in touch with people we know we live at the end.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
yeah, I
you.
can ask him.
I know
Yeah, what we have out there is 470 Gordonier Road.
either way they would.
Okay.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of new houses, then there is a gap.
Oh, is
you
there?
know.
I've never been all the way down that road.
Yeah, they're tucked back in pretty
Mhm.
good, so. But I'll check with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a little terrier, I'm sorry, I'm like, just,
Yeah.
anybody left?
Oh, nice.
We also have a couple on Dare Road.
Dare Road, yes. Why is that not, oh, there it is, there at the end.
Their road is off of
So,
McGuire School.
Dare
Or
Road,
the other end,
it's a,
off Skyline.
it's not
Park.
Old Dare, it's Dare. That's Old Dare.
That's old there.
Is off the road, off Skyline Drive. Deer is off of McGuire School Road.
Yes,
Okay.
Dare is off McGuire School Road.
Okay.
And I got a phone call from somebody on Dare a while ago who was asking about broadband.
That might be part of the McGuire School Road houses.
So is there any way to
Yeah,
find
I just-
out about Dare?
Yeah, I just gave me the addresses so I can get names.
Okay,
And we can try to contact them. Maybe send them a letter, or if we know them.
okay. Do you want the addresses now? They're at the bottom of your list there.
On their road.
Yeah,
392 and 407.
oh, they're not, they don't have a road. Here. Take
I
this.
got it.
You got it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out. Well, I'll figure out a way to reach out to them.
And then Bozenkill Road,
Bozenkill was,
is that part of Schoharie Turnpike?
no, I think that was in the, I would have to look at the map. I think that was coming up from, that's above Albany
Albany
County over
County.
there. I think they had a project coming up to the bottom there
Okay,
to hit that. Because it was like, it's in a weird spot, that one house,
Yeah.
Bozenkill.
There's 2 houses on Bozenkill. There's also one on Garnsey Road.
yeah, at the end of Garnsey Road, the last farmhouse, probably the first one built.
Is that, yeah,
That has to be charter. Because Garnsey Road is served by Charter Spectrum.
what's the address for Garnsey?
422.
All right.
It's like our dog.
Yeah, we'll try to reach out to them and see if they're served or not.
I believe West Shore Road, which is your project 5, is part of the Route 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, you're right.
Then we've also got one address on Easton Road.
That should have been taken care of because there's like 2 or 3 houses on Easton Road. That should have been taken care of by Verizon when they came down Route 30. Easton Road's like a half-mile road.
Do we
Not
know
even that.
that it was,
This one's right at the end, or it's right on the border.
It should have been done because the lady, the people that lived in one of the houses was really on us.
oh,
And then
well,
they stopped.
you haven't heard from
When
them?
they went down Route 30, they stopped. So
Well, I'll tell you, when I get broadband, you will hear from me.
I'm sure I will. But I would say Easton Road is done. Because the 3 houses like right on top of each other down there.
Okay, Easton Road, and that was Verizon.
Yes, that was part of the right, because they were rising right down Route 30, right next to them.
Yes, okay. All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to raise? Any other lonesome houses out there that we need to pay attention to?
It's Kim. I am curious about my neighbors, the Monahans,
Okay,
the ones that were skipped.
yeah,
And they were skipped why?
ineptitude.
Yes.
What was your address, Kim?
One is 684. And then that's John and Bernetta. And then their son is next to them, which is like going towards Route 20.
Mhm.
So he would be less than 684 for his address. He's like maybe 672 or something. I'm not really sure what his address is, but I know that Mr. and Mrs. Monahan are 684.
And they got totally skipped during this whole thing?
Yeah, the two of them both got totally skipped.
Okay, all right, I'll look into that too. I'll ask why. Did your construction guy say anything about that? Have you asked him?
Yeah, well, so the construction guy is the one that retired. So when he designed it, for whatever reason, he skipped them. And when the other construction guy came, not my friend who has been so kind, but a different one, he was saying that they would have to pay like $5,000 to get connected from the post, the repeater across the street.
Okay,
For a reason, they literally sat at the top of my driveway. I'm gonna turn my camera back on. They sat at the top of my driveway and I don't know, like a quarter mile at an angle all the way down to the other side under Schoharie Turnpike to put the next repeater to do those houses and completely bypassed the 2 Monahan homes. Instead of going, like, staying on my side of Schoharie Turnpike and continuing down, they didn't. They went at an angle across the street, took care of Marty's smoked meats and the front house and the houses, going towards 20, and completely bypassed the Monahans. And then when John Jr., the son, called and said, "Hey, I want to get hooked up for myself and my parents," and they were like, "Yeah, like you're gonna have to pay us each, $5,000 each," and he was like, "Forget it,"
Oh, I understand. Yeah, let me see what I can do on that end.
Thank you.
You're
The
welcome.
only one we have left on the map is 2933.
Scary Turnpike?
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the people that are down at the railroad.
Yeah, I know where that house is. Yeah, that's a tough one down there.
Yeah, and so part of the problem is if people aren't asking for service and complaining,
We never, they're not the squeaky wheel.
they're not squeaky enough. But, yeah.
because our mapping is based on what we've learned from the citizens. because Spectrum will not tell us who is served and who isn't.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I can tell you as a citizen, I mailed out like a dozen letters to my neighbors that Roger had given me the addresses on my street that need to be served. And I mailed letters, including 2933. Actually, I hand wrote it and put it in the mailbox because the post office said there was no such address. So I've informed them all of what the process is, and several of them went ahead. I mean, if I had not told them, they would not have known. So, anywho.
Good job.
I'm just trying to make the point that we don't have, without people telling us that they don't have service, we don't really know because we have no place to go to get accurate information.
Right.
That's part of the problem. That's such a huge problem for us because it's a big, big dark secret where this stuff goes. And it's just, we try very hard to capture everybody that needs service, but we may not know if somebody hasn't been talking about it.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary Ellen. It is an ongoing problem and it's going to continue.
Yeah.
And many people won't realize that they have a problem until they try to sell their house.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, that's what's going to happen to the Monahans, and that's what has happened to the Mr. and Mrs. Monahan, the elders. They have not in the past, they've tried to sell their home and they weren't able to sell their home because there's no service. And then we get service and then they're completely hopped over.
Yeah.
And then when they say, okay, let's have service, and they're like, okay, well, give us 10 grand, 5 a piece, and we'll give it to you. And it's like, you just drove past my house with it.
Right.
It makes no sense. I mean, I
We know how you
understand
feel.
there's a cost beyond the 250 feet from the road, but to be, purposely skipped over to ineptitude from the construction person who made the plans, that's pretty sad.
Have they actually been charging or lying beyond 250?
I never heard of anybody saying they had to pay.
Did you have to pay for?
No, I was very lucky. I did not have to pay, but they did say to me when they came that I was lucky. I fell right within the spot.
I haven't heard anybody tell me that they had to pay.
So
Like literally, I was like 248 feet. Like I had like 2 feet to go before I would have had to pay a little extra.
But we have people on Creek Road who are far in excess of 250 feet of road. And I know that the Schoharie Turnpike, wasn't that more than 250
They had a
feet?
bunch of them, yeah.
They were all served without
Well, extra money.
extra money. So, okay. Another meeting, unless somebody wants to interrupt with more questions, comments.
There are 2 bills in the Zoom chat if anyone is interested in looking at those.
I am very interested. Thank you, Jessica. Is the other one the one that was pocket vetoed, or what's the second one?
It's something that passed in the budget.
Oh, very nice. Good.
Do you think you could show us the early retirement incentive bill?
My husband would be interested in that one too.
Yeah, so would I.
My wife would be interested.
Oh, my.
That's why I said it, because I know.
But we in private employment say, just keep working.
Yeah.
Stop complaining.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
No.
I just don't want to have to go back in the office. I'm spoiled now.
No. I'm in one of those mixed marriages too,
Yes, my husband has been going to work. He works for the town in Niskuna at highway department, and he has to go in, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, well, you still have kids and school-age kids, right? So it's
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
What do you want next meeting?
Can you do July?
Sure.
All right, are we looking at July 7 or 14? John, what do you think?
Let's see, what do we got? July.
Probably the 14th and 7th is Independence Day weekend.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah.
John might be hungover.
Go for the 14th. Okay, so we're gonna do August 14.
July 14th. July 14th.
July 14. Thank you, which is Bastille Day. It's a little loud here. The train is going by.
Is that what we hear?
30. Do we know yet whether it's going to be via Zoom?
I'm sure it'll be open both ways.
You'll be doing both.
I don't know what the latest,
Thank you, John.
the governor's latest thing is. He's not pushing everything back, so have it open for open meetings.
Okay. Okay.
You can have people at your meetings as long as you have the space.
Right, as long as you can have social distance. Okay. So for now, we're looking at Zoom, but we can certainly let people know if it changes. We might have an issue with open space because
We don't have much.
I think the courtroom is in use on Wednesdays, which is
Yeah.
our only other option. So this is the only space we have, so. All right,
Okay.
thank you all.
Thank you, and have a happy holiday.
Yep. You do
Thank
it.
you guys.
Happy holiday.
Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you.
Memorial. Thank you,
I
bye-bye.
know.
Okay, what do you do? Right there. Oh.